How you doing saying hi?
I don't know.
All right. And introducing yourself.
Okay.
That's okay. All right. Captain Marvel review. What up, y'all? Dre here.
And Jess.
And we just got done watching Captain Marvel, the new Brie Larson film that's the direct lead into Avengers ENDGAME, the end of the first 10 years, and okay. Before people come at us, what'd you think of this movie?
I wanted to like it.
Sure.
Like, I really did. I wanted to... I had high hopes for it,
Mm-hmm.
but I've said from the beginning of, like, the trailer, and maybe even since, like, she was cast,
Mm-hmm.
that, like, I had doubts about her, and I'm just gonna say I was correct.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't think that she's a bad actress, but in a role like this, you have to have a certain amount of believability to be a badass.
Yes.
And that has always been my biggest doubt about her. Like I said, I think I've always said that my go-to example is Anne Hathaway in Catwoman. I was pleasantly surprised about her. I'm not going to say she was amazing, but like pleasantly surprised. Like she did better than what I thought. And that's not what happened here.
You look at, it's not a gender thing. 'Cause I know right off the bat, anyone who loves this movie that thinks anyone's coming for its throat is going to be like, you're toxic. I'm like, it's not a gender thing. Furiosa was amazing in Mad Max. Black Widow is a great addition to the Avengers. Wonder Woman, love that movie. She crushed it, Gal Gadot. So it's not a gender thing. This was just a bad movie.
Right.
And like going back to your toughness thing, again, I buy all those women as those roles. Whereas if you look at Alicia Vikander as the new Lara Croft Tomb Raider, the second they cast her, I was like, I don't buy it. Like, I don't buy she could knock some dude out, with one punch. I know Captain Marvel has powers, but still, Angelina Jolie, I bought her as Lara Croft. She looks tough, kind of scary.
Oh, yeah.
I did not buy Brie Larson as like this ultimate badass and she can beat anybody, including Thanos. I'm like, that.
Well, not only that, but I just really didn't get into the fight scenes in general. Like,
It was bad choreography.
I didn't leave that theater or even watching that movie. There wasn't an action sequence where I was just like,
spoilers, by the way, because we don't spoil the hell out of this thing.
That's true. But
like,
I didn't go, that was dope. Not once.
I said every Marvel movie has given me what I call the goosebumps. At least one scene.
Yes.
Like
so many. I got chills from the Game of Thrones trailer. First of all,
come on.
Like if it's good, like if I'm hyped about something, I got chills from multiple. Like every time Thor, and it's not Chris Hemsworth's sexy ass, but every time Thor comes on, it's a mix.
It's a little
but
bit.
Like if Thor, like I can literally watch that final battle sequence in Infinity War.
So good.
No. That's.
Oh, you talking about? I thought you were thinking Ragnarok. You talking about?
No, you're talking about Ragnarok. I'm talking about Infinity War.
When he comes down
he
Bifrost.
throws his axe and then he catches it again. He's like, "Bring me Thanos." Done. I'm just like, yes.
And even if you go to the lesser films, in Iron Man 2, not a great one. It was so cool when he put the suitcase armor on. In Iron Man 3, also not a great one. When the Iron Legion shows up at the end, that was a great scene. Incredible Hulk, not a great movie, but when he goes Hulk smash for the first time, you're like, yes.
Or when he's just like, I feel like bad because like we're like quoting male scenes, so it's like trying to make it a thing.
All right, sure.
So like, but like any of Scarlett Johansson's like action scenes, and she doesn't even have powers. Like I always believe that she can handle herself in these movies.
Even in Infinity
War,
it
doesn't matter that she doesn't have powers. Her action sequences are dope.
Yeah.
That one scene in Infinity War when she's like about to face that alien who's notably taller than her, and then you get like Okoye.
Yes.
And she's right behind her. That's a female badass.
I was just going to mention that. Dope. Yes.
Like,
and I love that line where like she's like, "You're gonna die alone," and then Black Widow is like,
"No, she's not.
No, you're not alone. Yeah. No, she's not alone." I'm like, just that one line, like I got goosebumps. There is not one goosebump line in this movie.
Not a single one. Actually, most of the lines. Now that we can segue from that and the action sequence.
Please let them know.
Oh my God! Let me just tell you one line that I had a problem with. The one where she is she's already become into her. She's gotten into her own skin. Like, she's, like, feeling herself a little bit.
There's, like, halfway mark?
She's getting ready to, I think she's opposing Annette Bening in this scene. But the line when she says, my name is Carol.
Yeah.
First of all, let's just start with Carol is not a badass name to begin with, okay? There should be no oomph behind that. You cannot say that with authority and be like, my name is Carol.
No.
And it, like, I don't care who says it.
That's
not a dope line.
No.
That's not like a, you know, bitch, recognize.
It's like, my name is Eugene. It's like, well, no.
Yeah, seriously.
That's not going to work.
I'm Vernon. Like, this is Phyllis. I should, those are my grandparents' names. That's bad.
Why are you throwing your grandparents under the bus?
Because they know what they are. Like, those aren't, like, go-to names. Like, those are just, like, you know, that's not a... I'm trying to even think of another one that, like, Natalie's not a badass name either for Scarlet Witch. But at least you can say Nat.
No, I actually do think Natalie's a badass name. And no, it's actually Natasha, but Natalie I think is a badass name. But
right.
Natasha is a badass name.
You're right.
Like, it sounds like Russian spy.
Natasha is, because I thought it was Natalie, so I'm wrong.
It's fine, but like even like piggybacking off of that, anytime they tried to demonstrate her toughness, like it was some odd choices, like where she starts doing her big like fight scene against the Star Force, and then like they start playing Gwen Stefani's "I Just a Girl." It felt like very sort of like
was that what that was?
It felt like it felt like or No Doubt rather. It felt like a deleted scene from Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's true. This movie in general was like a hot mess blend of like Guardians of the Galaxy, some type of Star Wars atmosphere, and then I don't even know what. Like,
yeah, it wasn't quite a puzzle. It wasn't quite a Frankenstein. It was this other amalgamation of a blob of like, it felt like Marvel Phase 1 movies.
That's what I said.
America,
I said
Thor.
If this movie would have come out during Phase 1, I would have had far less issues with it, because those movies, whether they were good or bad, and there's certain Phase 1 movies that did better than others as far as origin stories go, and like introing you to the character.
For sure.
But like
they should have a hang of this by now.
Right. So if they were bad, you could have chalked it up and been like, all right, well, they're still like unveiling like each one of these characters. But then as you get deeper into the stories, like they get better.
Right.
So if this would have been a Phase 1 movie, it would have been like, all right, well, it was her first one. Maybe the sequel would have been good.
Even early Phase 2, like Iron Man 2, where it's like, okay, they're figuring out sequels. They'll get it done. 20 movies in?
Right. Like, I mean, 10 years in and right before, like, your finale, like, this makes no sense. And honestly, in the timeline just of how this goes, I feel like it would have matched up better in general. Like, we talked about how if it would have been a Phase 1 movie and then you find out where this bitch has been this entire time and why she hasn't been involved in any of the other tragedies that have been going on in the movies, then I would have been like, okay, so she's just been gone this entire 10 years that we've been learning these other characters. And then it would have been kind of dope for her to come back and, like, be... joining the Avengers again in Endgame. That would have been kind of dope. But you dropped it like a Hail Mary pass right before the Super Bowl.
And they did that
and now I'm just kind of like, what the fuck?
Well, they made the classic mistake in just film in general, where the rule of thumb is like show, don't tell. And they keep telling you like she's so powerful, she's so powerful. And then at the end where she's like blowing up all these ships, I'm like, well, okay, I get that she can do that, but why? I don't know why she was able to absorb the energy of the Tesseract. Most people die when they touch an Infinity Stone. What was the special about her?
That they leave open. Like, I mean, they go backwards as far as like you establish her as like someone who already has these powers from jump, and then as the movie progresses, like she has struggles with her memory, which is fine, but it's like you don't understand why she can handle it.
Her only challenge is she can't remember, but she has no actual obstacle to overcome.
Right, exactly. You don't actually doubt whether or not that she can like fight.
No,
she doesn't have any come up like Black Panther.
I never felt dread. I was like, she's gonna be okay.
Right.
Yeah.
There was one scene, I lied. There's one scene where I was like kind of into it with the action, and that's when she gets captured and then realized that they had like were trying to mess with her memory.
That was a cool scene. I'll give him that.
Yeah, her escape during that was
felt
kind
so easy.
It did feel easy, but I'm just saying I paid attention during that. Yeah. All the other action sequences, I was just kind of like.
And like obviously the last action sequence of any movie is supposed to be the big like Avengers in New York. I was bored. Like all she does, it felt like out of Green Lantern. All she does is start glowing Super Saiyan style. She goes into outer space and she blows up all these Kree spaceships. But again, I felt like it wasn't earned. She just like Thor. We have to get to 3 movies before Thor is just like full God mode, can take a giant star to the heart and like barely die and survive and come back with the new hammer. I'm like, you can't just start with your same movie being like, oh, I can just basically blow up an entire fleet of spaceships. Right. No problem. And they stole from a bunch of other movies. They're not doing it as good. Not even in superhero films. They stole from Indiana Jones, y'all. There's a scene where at the end, Jude Law is giving this speech. He puts down his gun and he does the whole, fight me, put away your glowing fist and show that you're a badass. Like, take me down. Yeah. And then, like, the whole time, I swear to God, y'all, the whole time he's saying this, I said, they're not going to do Indiana Jones, are they? They're not going to do the... Basically, a guy does all this sword craziness and then you just shoot him. And that's exactly what they do.
Right. But noting on Jude Law, it's actually not all Brie Laws. What's her name?
Brie Larson?
No, Brie. Did you say Billy?
I say Brie.
Brie Larson's fault. Like, actually, the acting in general was not great for anybody in this. And, like, I don't think Jude Law's amazing, but he's definitely, like, seasoned. And then Annette Bening, same thing. Like, I can't think of a role where I'm just like, oh, my God, Annette Bening is da-da-da-da-da. Right. But, like, I still would expect more from her. Yeah. And she's kind of a write-off. Like...
Oh, and speaking of Annette Bening, they totally pulled a Tilda Swinton with the Ancient One, where the Ancient One was like an Asian dude, and they made it a white woman for some reason. Marvel is supposed to be a dude, and they made Annette Bening Marvel from the comic books, for those of y'all who go in deep cut. So they just did a gender swap for no reason. All right, sure.
Well, there's probably a reason. They're trying to, like, overhype, like, the female qualities with this movie. It just fucking failed.
It failed.
Nobody, I think, is going to watch... Well, I shouldn't say nobody, but I feel like anybody who's a true Mario fan and understands what they've been able to do with each of these movies and the phases expects a certain, like, level of movie. Yeah. And like I said, like, if you would have put this earlier on in the phases, I don't even think that I would, like, be as overly critical about it. But... My biggest thing has always been she got cast. Right. And so I had a lot of doubts about it. And then it just kind of jumps. Like, I mean, like, they don't really make you feel like you should care about this person. And now I have doubts that this bitch can even stop Thanos.
Well, like, and one of my biggest criterias for when I see any movie, but especially a superhero movie, is... do I like this person? I always ask myself that. True. I'm like, whether the movie's good or bad, like, at the end of Iron Man 2, I still, like, not the greatest movie in the world. I still want to hang out with Tony Stark. I wish that would, like... Of course.
Him and Robert Downey Jr. individually, together, don't care.
The fictional character, the man, I don't care. With Brie, I want to hang out with Thor. Captain America... I would ask him to help me move, but I don't know if I want to hang out with them.
I would make him curse. That's what I would want to do.
But he's reliable. He's a character. Brie Larson, by the end of this movie, I found her to be so... I don't know if I'm going to get hit on this. I don't know if there's a toxic word. I found her to be so obnoxious. I thought she was unlikable. I thought she was kind of bratty. Like, the look she was given, where she just kept doing, like, this, like... Like, it literally was like out of a 1950s movie, like a Mae West or something, where it's like very broad, where she would like punch some guy out and she'd be like, aren't I pretty cool? I'm like, it just seemed very forced and heavy-handed. And again, don't give me that you can't make a strong feminist movie without making all the men look stupid, because Chris Pine and Wonder Woman had agency. He had something to do. He helped out, but at the same time, she clearly was the savior of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also not like just like the gender thing.
I just know everyone's arguing about that this week. Right. It's all about gender. And if you don't like it, then you're a woman hater. No, because we saw with two women.
I'll argue the same thing if you take out the action and the Marvel components. I didn't like Ocean's 8 either, and I rooted for that movie hard.
Good point. The Ghostbusters remake was a bad movie. Right. Had nothing to do with gender. It was a bad film.
No, it doesn't have anything to do with gender at all. Ocean's 8, they literally like spoon-fed you all of the crime in that movie. And Ocean's 11 is like a notorious crime movie because like they're like, look over here, but we're going to be fucking with you over here. Like they don't...
With the same kind of stupid ex machina. In Ocean's 8, it was that Anne Hathaway is a bored actress who wants to be a criminal. In this, her sort of digging deep and finding like when Thor almost dies and has to like realize that he's a hero deep within. Yeah. Her moment of that is, I've got this nicotine patch on my neck.
That thing too! They didn't really establish that like that's like what was keeping her.
I knew
with
they
her
were setting up
powers.
because her first scene, she's scratching it and they showed her neck. So I instantly said, I was like, well, that's going to be important later. But they don't really. You're right.
They don't really establish it, why it's there, how it got there. Like they kind of flex between
how
like
this one
I
patch can contain all that power.
The energy, and that's what got me where I was. But they didn't say like, oh, but you only get to keep your powers by this thing on your neck. He flat out just says like, what's given can be taken away. Well, that's like that's
how convenient,
right? Like.
I will say, I don't want to completely dogpile on this. I did like the characters of the Skrulls, because normally in the books, they're generic bad guys just trying to blow stuff up. So I like the fact that they basically made them like refugees. I feel as though it was sort of like very analogous for either what's going on today or the whole Nazi Holocaust thing. It seemed like the Skrulls were these people.
Okay, but if you're going to compare it to that, then that's
Sure.
exactly why people are saying that this feels familiar, because this is a terrible version of like a female version of Captain America 1.
Oh, right. I forgot that was World War II.
Like, I mean, it is.
Like, you're right.
The way
it's the same movie.
It basically is. Even with the Tesseract, I mean, like, that's also something that confused me too. Like, the setup and the time frame of the Tesseract confuses me, because Captain America's in the 40s. This is like in the 80s, 90s.
Howard Stark found it while looking for Steve, probably like around the 1940s, 50s. Well, so basically, it was in S.H.I.E.L.D. custody for like 40 years. But then the next time it shows up, now that we know, was when Marvel had it. So basically, I want to know, how did it go from S.H.I.E.L.D. to Marvel? What is that line there?
I honestly, like, was genuinely confused by, like, that element of the movie.
Okay.
Like, and then, like, just the timeline in general. Like, it feels a little skewed to me. Also had an issue with that you are revealed to find out, what's his face, Fury, takes the idea for the Avengers Initiative from her airplane, which
that was so weak. That is bad writing, y'all. That is a level of writing at the what's his name, Michael B. Jordan Fantastic Four, where at the end of the name they're like, what should we call ourselves? And Ben's just like, I don't know, but this is all pretty fantastic. And Reed's like, what did you say? I'm like, that was that level.
I mean, that was corny.
Of corny, yeah.
It was overall super corny to me. Like, I wanted to like this movie so much so that, like, I was expecting some sort of pivotal, amazing moment between this woman and Thanos in Endgame, which would have been epic. It would have been amazing, because then you have, like, the superior man who you're supposed to sort of empathize with because of his, like, logic behind, like, obliterating half the universe. Yeah. Fine. But then you have a woman who could have, like, opposed him, and it could have been an epic scene, and they could still have this
battle of the sexes.
They could still have this scene, but I'm not gonna care now.
No, because speaking of scenes, the post-credit scene for this was it's probably gonna be a scene right out of the movie of Endgame, the same way the end credit scene for what's it called? Ant-Man was actually seen from Winter Soldier. Bucky with his arm trapped in.
But that was like a telling thing, and like I cared about that, and that actually made me go, because it was a good movie, right? This one I was just kind of like, so she answers her goddamn pager.
Did you like have the same feeling? Like at the end of this end credit scene, again, spoilers galore. They're basically the main core Avengers are in Avengers facility.
It's Scarlet Witch. No, not Scarlet Witch. Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow.
We always do that.
Yeah.
Steve,
and then
Hulk. Yeah, it's Mark there. Mark Ruffalo.
He was there.
Yeah, not the Hulk, but like Mark Ruffalo, Bruce
and
Banner.
And then Don Cheadle, what's his name?
War Machine.
Yeah, so they're all there.
Like experimenting on the pager.
Yeah, they're like trying to make it actually send out the signal. Right. And then she just shows up and goes, "Where's Fury?"
Right.
And that line right there, too.
Was supposed to be the, shit. But even the movie theater we're in, people were like...
Oh, another note that another person made for me today was that when you start this movie, if you go see it in theaters, the whole theater is going to be clapping with you. You start with this movie clapping for the Stan Lee tribute, and you're like, oh my gosh, yes!
Yes!
By the end of the movie, people like...
Yeah, it got quieter and like literally this again. You know, just from like watching enough movies,
the atmosphere
when there's supposed to be like buzz moments and people are supposed to like do applause breaks. You can tell
or laugh like you laugh in unison. You do something
when she first puts on her Super Saiyan. When like at the end when she has the blue, gold, and red, and like the helmet comes over and she can now fly. Like the fly scene when she like doesn't crash and flies. That was supposed to be like straight out of Superman, where it's like she can fly now. I was like. Okay. I did not care at all.
Like, there wasn't any surprises. I didn't care. And actually, I told you today, going back and watching that trailer makes it seem like this movie was set up to be a hot mess from jump. Like, the trailer doesn't even make sense anymore.
It doesn't.
The
and we kept saying the trailer seemed weak. Yeah. But we're like, well, even though the trailer seems weak, I'm sure they're going to knock it out the park for movie time.
Right.
All right, y'all. That's going to do it for our thoughts on Captain Marvel. Oh, yeah.
2 words.
Oh, before we go, you just reminded me, because when Sam Jackson's the one who names her Captain Marvel, how he loses his eye.
Oh, yeah.
Like, people joked about this for the past 2 years. Like, when they saw a cat was in the movie, like, you can go back to Twitter feeds from 2 years ago. People were like, oh, I bet the cat scratches out his eye. Ha, ha, ha. It was always meant to be a joke.
Right.
It's not a joke. That's how he loses his eye, y'all. A cat scratches it out.
That's another thing that happens in general, though, is that, like, you think that Fury is always this badass dude that will squash your hopes and dreams in this movie.
Thank you. They did to Fury in this movie what they did to Darth Vader in the prequels, where this guy who's supposed to be like badass knows all the answers.
Yeah.
It's kind of a doofus. They made Fury kind of comic relief. He's kind of dumb in this.
Yeah, he's weak. He's
weak.
Not authoritative at all.
He's playing with a cat half the time.
Yeah, and they teased that in the trailer too, and I thought that was just supposed to be like a scene of comedic relief. Like, he does have a softer side. It's the whole damn movie.
It's the whole damn movie.
It's the whole damn movie.
All right. Let us know what you thought about Captain Marvel in the comments below. Ooh, it's gonna be a rough weekend. I'll tell you that much. And
moral of the story is just wait for Avengers.
Just wait for Avengers.
Just wait.
If you miss this, you'll
okay.
you'll be fine.
It's okay. YouTube the end scenes, you'll be fine.
That's it. And have a friend describe to you any of the end credit scenes, because the last one is the cat throwing up the Tesseract. Again, it's very dumb.
Which is gross.
It's gross.
Actually.
All right, y'all. Until next time, I've been Dre.
And I'm still Jess.
Bye.